Ahoy there and welcome to Ken Goes Cruising. Come and share with us our love of cruising, whether it be the ships themselves, the activities we get up to on board, our love of food. Join us as we travel around the world and visit exotic places. We explore foreign cuisines and visit sites of international importance. Join us to see how different cruise lines do things in slightly different ways. Or maybe just come along for the ride and enjoy a drink with us. So here we are, at your service, Ken and Lindsay, ready to answer any questions that you may have. Hello, good evening and welcome.
Finally.
Yes, finally. We've had good evening, Cruise Monkeys. So we've had a few little technical issues tonight. I've changed some of the settings on my setup and for some reason
It didn't work.
Yeah, so I'm struggling to display chat on the screen at the moment, but maybe it's a week for it. I know poor old Mark and Lindsay had issues with their sound last night and they're here. So
we hope everybody can hear us anyway.
Yes.
And if somebody can just confirm that, that would be really good to start with.
Yes.
And it's yes, hello. Oh, he's fed up with us already.
He certainly is. So can you hear us and see us, guys? Hi to you both. Happy New Year from Jerry. Yes. So we hope you can see us. Yes. Hi, Alfie. Right. I'm just going to try a little thing and see, just to make sure you can hear us. I'm going to double check.
That's doing that as well. Well, not very well, but there you go.
Yeah.
And if you can hear us, just to let you know, it's not, the snow's not far away
Yes,
from us.
we can hear and see.
Well
thank
Brilliant.
you, guys. We're just waiting for that because we've had
issues.
You won't believe what we do. Right, welcome to one and all. So I said we're unable to display the questions on the screen today, and I'm not quite sure why. I think I changed a couple of settings last night and now this doesn't work, and unfortunately I was too busy this afternoon to check. Still, as long as you can see and hear us and we can see what you're saying, that's great. So let's say hello to a few people. We've got Bob and Holly and Sherry, who's supposed to be on an aircraft, but she's being picked up very shortly. Nice to see you, Sherry, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, very much so.
Hi to Lizzie Lou, nice to see you here, and hello to Alfie. Hi, Alfie.
Hi, Alfie. Oh, yes, and the Cruise Monkeys.
And the Cruise Monkeys. Hi, Gav.
Hi, Lindsay. From Lindsay.
Hi, yeah, Lindsay from Lindsay. Yeah, and Mark and Lindsay here as well. And Cruising Gaze, nice to see you again, guys. Thanks for joining us again. And I saw someone else down here. Louise, Happy New Year to you. Lovely to see you. And Jerry and Diane are here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah. Commodore Steve.
Oh yes, my goodness, there's another one.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy New Year to everybody.
Oh, happy
Wow.
Sisters on the Sea. Our newfound friends.
Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see. Yeah. It was in a bar somewhere, very late at night, I think, the last time we saw them.
There is a very special message down at the bottom at the moment I can see.
Oh, all right.
Only because it's a very special hello to this one.
Oh, to Dax.
He'd like to say hello, Sheila.
Oh, hello, Sheila.
It's your friend, isn't it? Yes, it is.
And we've got Carla and Andy in as well. Right, great. Thank you all for joining us. It's wonderful. I'm glad you can hear us and see us, even if we've got a few issues displaying your questions. So we'll go back to our first question, which is from Bob and Holly, Innocents Abroad. And the question is, how did Aurora Condition Service compare to the last time you were on her?
I don't think the service was that much different.
No, service was fine. It was busier on there this time than it was when we were on before. Service was fine. I think the food is actually slightly better again, which is good news, isn't it?
Yeah.
We had a few issues at embarkation, which was an unfortunate circumstance from the previous cruise when she was in a
She got battered fairly well by a storm over the Christmas period. And to the extent that people were asked to all go back to their cabins and wait there for their own safety. So it was really quite rough for them. And they were busy sort of putting it back together again for a lot of time.
Yeah. So
the embarkation was affected because of it.
Yeah.
People were still working while we were on there, and indeed when we got back to Southampton before she went on the next cruise. But it was being sorted out. It couldn't do much about weather conditions.
No.
And they were trying to keep things as normal as they could, really.
They were. It wasn't normal, but
no,
it was as good as they could get. I think they certainly put their minds to it and put some effort into getting it right. And as we went through the cruise, more and more things were open. One of the major public rooms was shut when we got on because it had floods in it. There was unfortunately 33 cabins were damaged and people weren't allowed to board, which is a nightmare for them. You know, we had a 3-hour delay. They had their cruise ended. But yeah, minus 29 degrees and 150-mile-an-hour winds they had on that cruise. It
wasn't easy.
So we think there were also a number of pipe burst issues as well. We know that Sisters on the Sea that are here tonight, they had huge problems with their air conditioning.
It wasn't funny, was it, girls?
No, it wasn't funny, girls. I hope you don't mind me saying, but they were sleeping with the door open because it was so hot, poor devils. We had an issue with the plumbing as well. We had a bit of black water coming out, but it was resolved fairly quickly. As regards the general condition of the ship, we were on her in March. There's the odd little scuff and mark now, I would say, that we didn't notice before, but generally for a 24-year-old ship, she's in pretty darn good nick. And I think now she's going off to warmer climes, isn't she? On 65 nights. I think that, you know, they'll get her back to where she should be. But I think it came as a bit of a shock to all of them. She had a real battering.
Yeah, it even affected the crew quarters and the crew mess, the officers' mess. There was a huge amount sort of beneath the passenger lines that was causing an issue as well.
So they were obviously, and despite them having those issues, the service that we were getting from the guys on board was really good.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, they was.
Yeah. Very good.
Well, yeah, we didn't have to. Well, it depends where you were, but in some bars you had to wait a bit longer for a drink than in others.
Yeah.
But and I think that's probably always going to be the case, and much more so when it's a short cruise as well, because everybody wants a drink at the same time, really.
But especially at certain times, New Year comes along. A lot of people are outside. Everyone goes into the bars, and everybody wants a drink at the same time. And unfortunately, no matter how good you are, you can't serve everybody at the same time. But generally, the ship was quite good. Yeah, but I just feel really sorry for those poor people that were turned away.
We've heard that some of them actually either got on the ship later on, or perhaps had been offered to go on to Ventura because she was sailing the same day for the same amount of time, and in fact followed us home. So we hope that they were all sorted out and amicably.
But the honest answer is we don't know about that.
We don't really know now.
We were just really happy that we didn't have that situation.
So.
Right, let's move on and see if we've got any more questions here. Oh, Jerry and Diane. Oh, Commodore did indeed have a nightmare with sound. Yes. Mr. Claypole. Oh, that's a new name, I think. Mr. Claypole. Done a transatlantic. Well, not this one. Was he? No. Okay. He's got his picture out there. I can see it. Perhaps he was in Rent a Ghost, you know. Only done transatlantic before, and I booked a short trip on Queen Victoria. Any tips on the best way of getting from Zeebrugge? Oh, I've missed the question. Keith.
Go back to that.
Sorry, Keith. I'll go back. This is because I can't see it properly on here. Keith James, question. Happy New Year, guys, from Keith and Christine. Hi, we are on Ventura Caribbean cruise in February. Would you recommend the speciality dining? We had mixed experiences of speciality dining on Ventura, didn't we?
We did.
We ate in the glass house on the first night, and it was fantastic.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
The food was good, the service was good, the ambience was good. Really great time. I would definitely recommend the glass house. We ate in the Epicurean for our wedding anniversary, and it's still very special. And in fact, it's more special than it was the last time we ate in the Epicurean.
Yes, because they post-COVID, a lot of the things haven't come back, but on Ventura they have brought back service at the table for certain dishes, and also the flambe at the table. And apparently that's not happening on most of the ships, but it's certainly happening there. And we made use of both of them, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, it was nice.
We also went to Sindhu.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Sindhu.
No, you're not, but I love it.
But I was very disappointed.
Yeah, we were disappointed. We both like. Well, I really loved Sindhu. Lindsay's a bit.
I kind of put up with it.
You kind of put up with it, yeah. But I was disappointed as well. Put it this way: we were in a specialty dining venue, and we were in and out in less than an hour, which doesn't make it really sound very special. It wasn't. You didn't have that warm, comfortable feeling that you normally get in a specialty. No. It wasn't special.
We did from the restaurant manager.
Yes, she was lovely.
She was very nice.
Yeah.
And our paths have crossed on a number of occasions, so we did explain our concerns, and she sort of kind of went with us, really.
They've also reduced the amount of food in Sindhu quite dramatically, haven't they? So for only you that have eaten there before, you get 3 pots standard, additional bits with your main course, don't you? So you get a pot of red plain rice, you get a pot of vegetables and a pot of dal. Well, normally these pots are fairly well full, and they were about a third full on this occasion. And even you, who doesn't really eat that much, said that it was a bit underwhelming on the quantity side even, didn't you? Of course, it has changed slightly, because Sindhu on Ventura used to be... Oh, hello, Trouble's back again. Sindhu on Ventura used to be a case of... Come on, up here, Dax. Sindhu used to be a case of paying a fixed fee, the £15 or £17.50, wasn't it, for your 3 courses. Now you pay by the dish. So whether the whole regime has changed a bit since they've done that, I'm not really sure, but not too impressed with Sindhu.
We've never had an opportunity. Alan, Alfie's mentioning tiffin in Sindhu. We've never had an opportunity to have the tiffin in Sindhu. No. So that's something that we're going to be looking out for when we honour her in May. Yeah. Because I think that would be fun to do.
Yeah, I think it would. The other speciality that we went to was the beach house. And there's some particular dishes that we really love in the beach house. And for those of you who've seen the vlog that we did, when was it? Not the last one, the one before, I think it was 2 vlogs ago. Where we were in the beach house. I actually put some footage in of when we'd eaten in the beach house before and compared to what, because we actually had the same dish. We had the sizzlers, which is one of our favourites. And it just wasn't the same. I mean, we sort of made mention that, and the restaurant manager came over and he gave us the discount of the extra £1 upcharge for the sizzler, but that wasn't really the point. It just wasn't what it used to be. They've obviously changed the recipe, haven't they? Yeah,
the service wasn't good out there. Oh, hello, he's trying to get in. It's not terribly warm up here, so he's trying to find somewhere that's warm. And that's in between us. The service, they were trying very hard. They were very nice. Yeah. But the service wasn't really that good. Some of them didn't really know what they were doing. They were so new to it.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of new staff.
Those that did know what they were doing almost appeared a little bit embarrassed. But yeah, I mean, they were training on the job, and it was a good job. It wasn't very busy up there, really. Yeah. Yeah. So I would sort of be reluctant to do that one again unless I knew that they were doing the old.
But just on that particular dish, we can't comment on the others, but that's our favourite, and that's what we went there for. Particularly was that one. My starter was really good, and my pudding at the end, the chocolate fudge cake, was just wonderful. But so it was just the main course that we were disappointed in. We're going to make that fair to everyone. Right, where are we? So I hope that helps, Keith. But definitely Epicurean. And definitely Glasshouse. Excellent, weren't they? Yeah. Both of them. Yeah.
So, Mr. Claypole.
Mr. Claypole. Only done transatlantic before, now booked on a short trip on Queen Victoria. Any tips on the best way of getting to and from Zeebrugge to Bruges? What time do I need to leave Bruges to get back on the ship? Right. Now, we got to do this because you looked into this. So, you talk taxis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the taxis run from the port, and they will run you straight into Bruges, and apparently they have a standard fee. Last I heard, that was €55 each way,
for
but
the car.
for the car,
Yeah.
not per person. So that can be quite a relatively inexpensive way of doing it. And what I understand is that you pick them up at the port, and when they drop you off in Bruges, and they'll drop you off wherever you want, just like any other taxi, you can actually make arrangements with them then to pick you up at a certain time, and by that time you'll know what time you have to be back on the ship, because it does vary depending on port days and times and tides and all that sort of thing. So that's one of the ways that you can do it.
Now there's two other ways that I'm aware of. You can book a Bruges on your own trip with the cruise line, which will do it. I'm not sure what the prices are on Queen Victoria, and they may be different when you're going anyway, but you can book that. So they take you in, they usually drop you off in the car park, so there's quite a little walk to get into Bruges, probably half a mile, something like that, which isn't necessarily good if you have mobility issues, which is something that's not always clearly explained, is it? They give you a little bit of a tour in past the sort of monastery and things like that, don't they, when you go in, and then you have your day to yourself. They have a meeting point. You then go, you usually meet in the square, don't you, by the brewery in Bruges, and then you walk together as a group from there back to the car park where the buses are, and then go back to the ship. The one advantage you've got of that is, as long as you're back at the meeting point at the agreed time, if there's a problem with traffic or anything like that, the ship will wait, because it's a ship excursion. Now, the other way of doing it, which is probably the least expensive way, particularly if you're on Cunard, because I believe they will probably give you a complimentary shuttle to Blankenberg, which is the nearby town. Now, from Blankenberg to Bruges, you can take the train. The train runs on an hourly basis. So you've got an hour between train times, but you'd have to check the timetable. You can get all this online. Just look it up on the train timetables for Belgium. So they're about hourly, and the train station is actually slightly closer into the town than the bus station as well. And it's just not much in it, but so you have got to walk a little way to get into the town, and that's a reasonable price. I don't know for definite, but I'm guessing now, I think it's about €8 each. But if anyone knows that for definite and has been on there recently, perhaps you could put a little note in the chat below, because I'm not totally sure of that. So that's where you get the complimentary shuttle to Blankenberg, get on the train, go to Bruges, and then hop on the train, come back in time to get the complimentary shuttle from Blankenberg back to the ship. What you do need to do is to make sure you get a train early enough to catch the last shuttle, because before you get off the ship, they will announce the last shuttle time from Blankenberg. Yeah. So that's three sort of options that you've got. Okay.
Unless anybody knows of any more.
Unless anybody knows of any more, but that's three options that are available. All right, let's see. Cruise Monkeys, hello guys. You mean tiffin lunch or Sindhu, small Indian style dishes? Yeah.
Yeah, I would really like to try that. It sounds really good. And probably right up my street, actually, because it's little tastings of things.
It's interesting that just going down through the comments, because we've got to do this in a sort of ad hoc way, that Mark and Lindsay are saying they prefer the glass house on Ventura to Iona. So do we, but I think our favourite glass house on any P&O ship is probably still Britannia. We've had some really good meals on there.
Cracking meals in there.
Yeah.
And goodness knows why. Because it's all exactly the same, done to the same recipes. It just must be something.
Not on Iona. Iona has a different menu.
No.
Yeah.
But it's just very strange.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand.
If they are the same, they should be done the same, but it doesn't,
I'm just going down through these here. Tom and Dom Beach House on Aurora was lovely. Good. Thank you, Tom and Dom. We didn't get there this time, but when we did the beach house on Aurora, in actual fact, when May 21 was it? When we were on Aurora doing the Baltics? Or was that 21 or 22 in May? And the beach house was the best food on the ship on Aurora, because at that time they were having issues in the main dining room. And beach house was lovely. Thank you very much for joining us, Tom and Dom, who were on our cruise as well at New Year's, and I do apologise for my error today. Sorry about that. Very sorry. You found another question.
They kept us up late, didn't they?
They did keep us up late. They were terrible. There's youngsters for you. I'm in my 60s now. We're both
and sisters on the sea were even worse.
They were, yeah.
Not with us, but with our friends. They kept them up till late as well.
They did, didn't they?
It's a question of way to behave.
Past 4 or 5 o'clock, wasn't it? Did you see another question that I've missed?
No, just a comment, really.
Oh, is it?
It's good,
as long as they have good naan, bread and curry, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
It's not really curry, is it? It's so well.
No, it's
different. It's Asian fusion.
Yeah. And the naans aren't big naans like you would get in here.
And the poppadoms aren't poppadoms. They're little sort of things about that.
Only place to get decent poppadoms on board the ship is up in the buffet.
Yeah, and we
might have to explore that as well.
Yeah, they're really good out there.
You can just get them by the bucketful. Right. Or I do.
So thank you, Tom and Dom, for that. That's a big help. Phil, Happy New Year to us. Love watching your videos. We're on Ventura in August, Avia in March, and Sky 3 times this year.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we're on Sky later this year as well.
Yes, we are.
You're not on in September, are you, Phil? Because if you are, we'll have a sing-song together in the choir again. Phil was, he was on, yeah, that was USA Canada, wasn't it? I think. Yeah. With Phil. Yeah. And we had great fun. And his wife Sheila in the choir. So yes, it was a really good time. Yeah. Commodore Steve, question: what are the band pulses like on Aurora?
Well, it depends which version you get.
It depends which version you get. Pulse is not a real band. Pulse is a group of musicians that P O put together to form a band. They always have 2 lead singers, bass player, keyboards, drums, and guitar. But it's an amalgamation of people, and quite often they don't actually meet as a group until they actually get on board. So it's very difficult because they swap from one ship to another depending on their contracts.
And they don't all swap at the same time.
No, they don't. It's a bit, and sometimes they'll move from one ship to another.
It's quite a compliment to their musicianship.
Yeah. That
they can just drop in and out as needed. And I don't think to most of the public they would notice that was happening, except for the fact that if you go on P&O ships frequently, you might see certain faces.
Yeah.
A number of times.
But it's not the whole group.
But it's not the whole group. No,
it's
normally.
Not like when Cool Blue were on there, All Natural High.
Yeah.
If you go back 15, 20 years, that was a group that came on as a group and went off as a group. Whereas Pulses is an amalgamation of people that P&O put themselves together.
And we were lucky enough to have Cool Blue on there.
We were,
this time,
yeah.
Which is nice to see Paul again.
And Sheila, hi Sheila again. Sheila's back on the 1st of June.
Oh, right.
So everyone's going on Sky this year.
Oh, interesting.
Innocence Abroad, Bob and Holly, question. Do you find that taxis accept credit cards or is it just euros in cash?
I don't know.
It varies.
A bit like UK, I think.
Yeah.
It varies. And here in the UK, we found that some of them say it's cheaper for cash than it is to pay by card.
I wonder why.
But
the other thing
I can only assume that it would be very similar.
With Zeebrugge, you could actually book in advance and pay in advance, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, you could do it online. Somebody very kindly, and it's not down to us, but somebody very kindly on the group, for the group cruise that we were doing, actually put a note in there of contacts for Belgian taxi company, and you could book and pay for it before you got there with your credit card.
One thing I will say is I think that a lot of the European countries are much more into using card than we are, and certainly in places like Norway it's very rare that they would take cash at all, so that's an increasing thing, I think.
I had a problem the other way round, Bob, actually in Norway earlier this year. I was going to say no, last year in March. I went to go on the Skylift, didn't I? Where was that to? I can't remember now. Anyway, I went to go up in the Skylift and went over with cash and went to pay. They will not accept cash. They will only accept card. Then I went back to the ship. Lindsay didn't want to go because you were a bit back there, weren't you? So I went back to the ship, got my card, went back to pay, and they shut it because it was too windy. So
you weren't meant to go.
I wasn't meant to go. I wasn't very happy about it, but so it really does vary.
Very much so. Yes.
Sorry, taxis in
Yeah.
Bruges.
Yeah.
Another question from Jerry. When and where is your next cruise? Well, we did mention this last time, didn't we? Because we thought you might be coming with us, Jerry. Yeah. So we are on.
We're on Ballet.
Yep.
Fred Olsen's Ballet. And as usual, I'm not really sure where we're going.
February the 20th we go.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And we go to Amsterdam and Rotterdam. We've never been on Fred Olsen before. We've heard a lot of good things about it, especially the food and the service and everything. We quite like the smaller ships. We may or may not be a bit young. That make a change. But so that's where we're going next. We've got an overnight in Rotterdam, and then we actually sail into Amsterdam, which a lot of ships can't do these days. And we have an overnight in Amsterdam as well. So we've got a trip booked in one, and then we know where we're going to go in the other place, don't we? Yeah. So that'll be something new for us as well, won't we?
We'll have a bit of time to explore the ship as well, which would be quite nice. So we're looking forward to that.
Right.
Oh.
Sisters on the Sea had a little tip-in lunch already.
Went bowled
over by it. Oh, okay. Because when I went to look at it, it said it was sold out.
Well, it was their
Because
fault.
I did look.
They were all booking it up before us.
They're just on the ball.
Yeah.
A bit more on the ball than we are.
Their brains are younger than ours.
Yeah. Oh, here, and Lizzie has said, in November our taxi only wanted euros, 50 each way, 5 of us shared. So the value's quite good, but only cash.
I wonder if this 50 and 55 is something between
different companies.
Different companies.
Because it was posted at 50.
And perhaps this business of cash and card.
That's interesting. Maybe 55 booked in advance on card, 50 euros, bit in the back pocket.
Who knows?
Who knows? If the taxi drivers are like they are in our town.
Like that. But they are meant to be a standard fee.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, Tom and Dom. Oh, right. So where are we now? Oh yes, down to Alfie. I've got memory pair. I do 2 trips into Bruges, a half day and a full day. Yes. Oh, have I gone too far now? Oh no, where are we?
I don't know.
Oh, here we are. Louise Newton. Saffron restaurant on Ambassador Ambition was superb. Indian fusion food, really tasty. Well, that's handy to know. We are still looking at going on Ambassador.
We'd like to go on Ambassador, but we don't want to do a long cruise on that.
No.
If it's a company that we don't really know an awful lot about and ships that we've never been on, we'd rather do a week if we could, rather than perhaps 2 weeks or more. And they do quite a lot of longer trips.
And we want to go from Bristol because it's 30 miles up the road. I think it would be really good for us. But they still haven't put out there. We can't do it this year anyway.
No.
So we're waiting for their 2025 itineraries to come out, and hopefully we can hop on something in Bristol and go. The Sisters on the Sea are always accused of being a bad influence, but nobody ever seems to need that much convincing to stay in the bar.
Hey, come on, I went to bed early one night.
You went to bed early 2 nights.
Oh, was it 2?
Yeah, 2 nights. It's bad cold. That's a trouble.
Yeah, I've still got it now.
I know you have, yeah. So, no, you were very good company. Tom and Dom were excellent company as well. We had some really good fun with them. Yeah, it was...
It makes a change for you to be bad influences. Normally we're the ones that are getting the blame.
We get accused. Paul and Carol always accuse us of being bad influences.
I don't understand it.
I mean, we go to bed early every night. Don't we? I tell you what, I have learnt, I think, on this latest cruise, that now I'm a septuagenarian. No, sexagenarian.
That's it, no.
Oh, I don't know.
60, I'm just saying.
Now I'm in my 60s.
Before you get any idea.
Yeah, now I'm in my 60s. Maybe we shouldn't do the 2, 3, 4 o'clocks every night. Just
I thought we said that after MSc.
We did.
You're only 59 then.
I know, but so maybe we shouldn't do it all the time, just now and again, because it does take its toll. I mean, I missed breakfast twice. That's like
that's
awful.
unheard of.
Yeah,
unheard of. But it was very comfortable where we were sat, and it was quite easy to sit there and just top up the glasses here and there. So yeah, easily swayed. You see, that's all it is.
So Commodore Steve, the worst post band I've heard was on Ventura 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Oh, well, we were on there 4 or 5 weeks ago, and they weren't that bad, were they?
No.
They were quite good.
They had changed already.
Perhaps they've changed. You know, we know that the theatre company on Aurora changed as we got off. Yeah. They got off. So maybe Pulse has changed, or maybe parts of Pulse have changed. That's, as we said, it's all a bit like, you know, here and there sort of thing.
It must be quite difficult for them if they are chopping and changing like that.
Yes.
But they were brilliant on Arcadia.
Brilliant on Arcadia at the start of December. We've had some good times on Arcadia, haven't we? I'll never forget that Irish duo that we had on there.
Oh, Liv and...
Paul and Liv, wasn't it? They had a lock-in one night in the pub, and the pub was full. There were people stood outside the doors and everything. It was an Irish...
You talk about bars rocking.
Yeah.
It really did. They were jammed in there like sardines. You couldn't get in. No. To actually watch them. No. But they had built up, by the time they did the lock-in, they had built up a bit of a rapport with a lot of the stuff, a lot of the passengers. Yeah. And they got them doing silly Irish songs with a bit of movement, a bit of clapping. And of course it always goes wrong. And it was just that everybody found them so funny. Good. And yet they were brilliant musicians. They weren't doing it as comedians, they were doing it as musicians. And just as you would find in a pub around your own home. They were absolutely amazing. And they carried on playing because they were supposed to finish at about midnight, and they were still playing at 2 o'clock in the morning. I think they were enjoying it as much as everyone else was. It was funny. You know, it's just one of those nights that... And as we couldn't get in that night, we were sort of going places, and we went up to the Crow's Nest, and when we came back down, they were still playing, and we thought, okay. Because we'd seen them several times in the Crow's Nest, hadn't we? And in the pub. They sort of moved around the ship, as a lot of them do. But yeah, it's good. Right. So, I remember now. Oh yes, Jerry remembers now. Yes. He remembers he's meant to be coming with us. Well, no, he didn't say that. He said he was going to look at it. He thought he might look at it. He may realise now we're on there. He don't want to go off. It's got more sense than you come when we're on there. Yeah. Right, can't wait to hear what you think, Fred Olsen. It's one we keep considering. Worried about being too young. Yeah, well, your worries obviously aren't as great as ours, are they? Sorry, they're bigger than ours. Got that the wrong way round, didn't I? Yeah, your worries are bigger than ours. Yeah, I think we're getting there now. But no, we'll wait and see. Andy... I'll go around with a clipboard and take details on how old they all are. Andy and Kirsty went on there because they met up with the monkeys last year in Amsterdam. Yes, they did. I think they did. Yeah. And, you know, I think they had a really good time. They looked quite good. Yeah. Alfie says, on Fred, I'd recommend Vasco da Gama Restaurant. Oh, yes. That one. That's the one, that's the Indian one, isn't it? And yet we looked at the menus and we sort of half preferred the ocean something. Yeah. Going. And Tom and Dom say 100% agree with Louise. Saffron was excellent on Ambassador. Well, there you go. That's interesting to know. It is. The next one's an interesting. Andy and Carla, have you ever done the chef's table on P&O? We're sailing on Iona this Saturday. No, we haven't. Cruise Monkeys have, and I don't think they were very impressed. But I think they put a message underneath it. So, need to explain. Chef's table on P&O, on Iona, and possibly Arvia, don't really know because we haven't been on it, is not like a chef's table on other cruise lines. So a chef's table on other cruise lines is usually a tasting menu with maybe 8, 9, 10 courses, paired wines and things like that. And you're usually paying, I don't know, 150, 200 quid for it, aren't you? Yeah, probably. Yeah, you know, and yeah. And we did the pairing one on Aurora in the Glass House, didn't we? Yeah, that was about that was a few years ago. That was 60, 70 quid. But you had different wines, including champagne, didn't you, with each course? So the chef's table, we were talking to Maitre D on Iona, weren't we, about this?
And we said, oh, chef's table, that sounds interesting. He says, no, he says, the only reason there's a chef's table in the buffet, because that's where it is, on posh night, on formal nights, is because they do not have enough room in the restaurants to seat everybody and feed them all on Iona. They do not have enough capacity. So they created the chef's table, which is the same menu as the main dining room, but you're stuck up in the buffet with no tablecloth, seeing what the cruise monkeys had to go through. They've got a vlog about it. Watch their vlog on this one, Carla and Andy, because it's, they ended up with the service being so bad that they had a table full of empty glasses, didn't they?
I can't believe that they'd have a table.
They must have had about 15 or 20 empty glasses on the table where no one was just taking them away. And they didn't have a particularly good night up there. So it is, and you're up there, you're all dressed up, and then somebody sat over there, the other side of the room is there in shorts and a t-shirt because they can, because it's a buffet.
So Cruise Monkeys have actually commented here.
Yeah.
About the fact that it was the Iona in July.
Oh, it was the Iona. Sorry, guys.
So that's when they did that. But they've also said if they removed the need for formal wear, it would be worth it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because it would be a nice option to have a normal dinner, but without having to dress up for those people who don't want to dress up.
Yeah.
But it's not a chef's table that you would think on other cruise lines where it's special.
Mm.
It's the same food. Yeah. What's Jamie's vlog about his trip to Ambassador? Oh, interesting.
Tom and Dom have done it on Arvia as well
For
Christmas.
Oh,
it wasn't the best location.
Well, of course, the Arvia at Christmas was
the first Christmas she was out.
That was the one they got.
Yeah.
That was
wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, so if you want to see, watch Tom and Dom's video as well on Arvia and see
how they got on.
See how they got on as well. That's what all this stuff's here for people to watch, and we haven't done it. So have a look at the guys that have, and you can make your own mind up then, can't you? Because it's all there for people to see.
But there are other options there apart from the chef's table. So, dress up and enjoy the options that you have, whether it's MDR or one of the speciality dinings.
Yeah. So there we are, Andy and Carl. I think they're going to give it a miss, but that's what having chats like this is so helpful, because you pick up a lot, forums and things like that. I mean, on here at least it's all people we know and trust that we're all talking to. Mm-hmm. And you get honest answers, which is good. And
I have to say that we have to go back a little bit, because there was a comment from Sheila.
Oh, was there? Where's that one?
Somewhere.
Oh, there.
Yes.
Ken and Lindsay led me astray on Canada Cruise, except I didn't lead you astray, Sheila.
You were the one that was embarrassed, weren't you?
I was embarrassed because you two wouldn't give me a minute's peace. You were taking the mickey out of me.
And you're admitting to becoming 70 in 4 weeks.
In 4 weeks. Wow.
You don't look it, dear.
No, you don't. And I hope you had a fantastic time on Saga. Because you did the Caribbean one again, didn't you? 35 nights?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, a long one. But we'll have to have a chat about that sometime, won't we? Yeah. But right, where were we now? Arvia removed the need for formal wear, formal nights, summer night, in Carla, Ventura. Oh, Commodore Steve was on Ventura at Christmas. He was wishing he chose another line like Fred or Saga for a younger drama. Oh, really?
Younger.
It was that old on there. Well, I must say we were on. When did we get on?
November, December.
December the
5th of December.
5th. We got off December the 5th, which is when. There's one in between, wasn't there? But there were a lot of younger people on there. Lots of families on there. I do know someone that was on the Christmas cruise, because Barry and Sue were on that one.
They said that they thoroughly enjoyed it.
They said they had thoroughly, but they're old.
Really are, aren't they?
Well, Barry's nearly 80, so they are older. But 80's not old, is it now? It was 30 years ago, but it's not that old now.
Yeah, we were surprised when we were on Ventura that there were such a young demographic.
Yeah. And the amount of children on board is 200.
Perhaps they all went then and not at Christmas.
Possibly because it's cheaper.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
And that's the reason why. Chef's table in a buffet makes as much sense as
Poopy lollipop.
Poopy lollipop. Yeah, it's a bit strange, but it's the that's why I said chef's table on Iona is not chef's table as it is on most other cruise lines.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, well, Bob, I don't know whether you did the chef's table on Vista when you were on there. We certainly do. It was $250 a head, wasn't it, on there? But you know, we shall see.
Right. Okay.
Yes, we shall see. But Bob will probably add to that in a minute. Yeah. So Sheila says Saga average age of this year's Christmas cruise was 78.
Oh, you were an absolute youngster then.
You were a spring chicken then, Sheila.
Yeah.
Tiny. It's good though, isn't it? Right. Very helpful, these chats. Yes, you're right, Bob. They are very helpful. We learn a lot as well, don't we?
We do.
I think going on any of these chats, you learn a lot because you've got people who've been there and done it, and you know. So, Sisters on the Sea are asking, how are the panto rehearsals going?
Well, yesterday was very cold.
Yes, it was very cold.
They moved in the scenery and most of the lighting actually moved into the hall that we performed in yesterday. So doors were open everywhere, and it was very cold and drafty.
It's very cold.
And we had everything. We had the children, the dancers, the chorus, and the principals.
Yes.
Never an easy rehearsal because
not for the first time.
People are still finding their way around stages and all sorts of things. But it went reasonably well. They did a few songs several times, but that was because of the difficulties getting people on and people off. Because until you're in that situation, you can never really tell. And it'll change again as soon as
when the scenery goes.
When the scenery goes up, and there'll be a number of people going, oh, but I always stand there. No, you can't stand there. There's scenery there, and that can't move. My
first opening bit wasn't very good yesterday.
No, it wasn't.
But then I was worried because they gave me a new song to sing.
Middle of
last week, and it's quite a difficult one. So I'm struggling with it at the moment. I've got to learn the words to that and everything. So, but no, the script we went through the script again today, didn't we? And it's getting there. Getting there. We should be there or thereabouts. Really. Yeah. Very much there.
Some of the costumes we can't turn the camera around, but because it's a secret.
They're over here.
There are some of the dames' costumes here. Yeah. And I think one of my costumes is here. The others are all being
taken in.
No, they're not. No, actually, no. They're being tweaked.
My dresses actually are being taken up and taken in. Two of them.
But let's face it, one of the dresses they want you to wear, you could get me and you in there.
Well, you could. It's very large, isn't it?
It is. Beautiful dress.
But if anyone does want to watch us and in Panto, I think I'll put the link to the ticket booking in the description of this video. So please come on down. There are tickets available still. It's not that expensive, is it? I think it's £15 including the booking fee, something like that. But yeah, we'll be there. Yeah, and
well, I hope so. We haven't got any understudies.
No, we haven't got any
understudies. Trouble.
Yeah, there's a bit of a trouble. Yes, right.
But it's fun. The script we've got
is very funny script.
It's brand new this year.
Yeah,
and it's very funny. Those of us at Principals have been rehearsing it now since the middle of October, and we're still finding it funny. So that's always a good sign.
Yeah, it is. And Commodore Steve says 80 is the new 50.
Oh, well, I've got time to go then. I'm only in the 40s.
You made me feel so good there, Steve.
No, 30s at that rate. I'm in the 30s. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Wow, yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good.
And Bob has said, no wonder we've done the chef's table on Princess, and it was about $110. So, yeah, it's quite a different thing altogether. Right. Commodore Steve, I spent all of December trying out Arcadia, Iona, Ventura. Saw the same identical shows on each, and I will say Arcadia, Headliners and Pulse were far superior to the others.
Well, that's interesting. When we were on Ventura, there was a brand new show that we saw.
It wasn't a brand new one.
Well, it was new to us.
It was new to us, yeah, but it wasn't new to Ventura because it's only on Ventura.
Only on Ventura.
Yeah, which was Paradise City.
Yeah, the rock
which
and
was a
roll one.
rock-based one. Yeah, which was quite good. We liked it.
And then when we were on Aurora,
and they also had what's his name? Burt Bacharach's life story on it, which they only do on Arcadia. Some of these, it's like the Gary Barlow one. I think they only do on Iona and Arvia. They don't do them, so they have got a slight variation. and that other one on Aurora, which was the pub-based one.
Oh yeah, that's really good. If you get a chance to see that,
was brand new in March last year, and at that time was only on Aurora. So they are slightly different, but yes, they are the bog standard ones that they do. They've got Astonishing, On the Horizon, Applause, which is still good.
Yeah, we watch Applause every time it's on.
Centre Stage.
Centre Stage is quite good.
Yeah.
Because the performances, the music that they've got in that one is very good.
Yeah. So
it makes you feel a bit. I have to say, we've seen Applause on a number of occasions and on a number of ships, and I don't think we've ever seen it and there not be a standing ovation at the end of it.
No. And yes, you're right, Commodore Steve, that was Barry. Yeah. Barry, yeah. I've never seen an introduction to a show quite like that before.
It was very different.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, quite like that one.
I like the music. Yeah, we did like that.
It took me a while to realise what Barry was up to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think they could have pushed that a little bit more. But yeah, I thought that the concept was quite good.
So Sheila says Arcadia was in Funchal on New Year's Eve. You're on Arcadia in October. After the refit, Sheila. That'll be good, because I've heard several people say that she just needs a bit of love and attention.
Yes. Yeah, but she was always going to, really.
Yeah.
She's but it'd be interesting to see what they do with her.
Yeah. I hope that they don't just put new carpets in and that's it, because that's what a lot of companies seem to be doing these days for refits. They change the carpets, put a bit of paint on here and there, and that's it. Whereas some of the ships need a bit more than that, a bit deeper, get the angle grinder out and cut some of the rust out and do a job properly.
He's going to take it with him next time.
No, I'm not taking the angle grinder or my welder. No. All right. So Jerry says one of the best groups that they've ever seen her was on Morella Explorer. Really. Now, we've not done Morella.
No.
I would like to.
Well, we've never really seriously looked at it, that's all.
No, but you got to fly to get on there.
Oh, I'm not doing that. You'll have to date somebody else.
So that's the that's
somebody else. I keep telling you to.
I know, but I don't want to do that. It's Lindsay and Ken. Yeah. And Commodore Steve was the 710 club band on Iona were amazing. Really. Now they change regularly.
Yeah.
Because they're all Gary Barlow's finds, aren't they? And they change quite regularly, so they come and go. Yes. Leslie, hi Leslie. Finally we meet. You've putting such lovely things on our videos for so long. It's nice to nice to actually sort of not meet you, but meet you. Yeah. Question: what makes a gardener a good cruiser? And what were the more memorable gardens you visited in 2023? I'll hand that over to my gardening expert, the virtual gardener.
You've got a gardener here that would probably rather be cruising, but I do like my gardens. I'm not very good at it, but I do quite like pottering about it in the garden with the dog, and occasionally a little robin that comes into the garden. What gardens? Actually, I think favourite gardens. One of the favourite ones, and I've got to put together a video about it, was the one in France.
Was it in Bordeaux?
Yeah, where they were doing all the demonstrations.
Yeah, Bordeaux.
Yeah, Bordeaux. And we quite by accident went into
Le Jardin Public.
Quick babble translation. Public Gardens.
So
we went in there quite by accident, and we just started sauntering around. The people there were just doing what people do, and we just sort of just led ourselves into an area where there were experimental gardens, and then there was a water garden, and then you sort of turn around the corner and they had the junior schools out there doing their little sort of running competitions and things, just like you would have done in this country years ago. And then when we got back to it, we found a bar.
It was quite warm that day, wasn't it?
Yeah. And there was a bar and restaurant, and there was even a little fun park area, wasn't there, for the children.
By that time we walked about, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles, hadn't we?
Yeah.
So we were quite thirsty.
Yes, it was a good excuse to stop.
And it was warm.
But it was really, I know it was a hot day, but it was really very pleasant place to be. Not a great abundance of flowers, but just a very comfortable place to be.
Madeira?
Madeira, oh yeah. Well, Madeira's a little bit different, isn't it? Because she's just a beautiful place to be. And if I was going to look at somewhere for pot plants and general town decoration, it would be St Peter Port in Guernsey.
Oh yeah.
Because they do a really, really good display every year. And of course the volunteers are meeting you off of the tenders, and they'll point you in various different directions, but just make your own way through the town and you can see all these beautiful floral displays. It's really nice.
And as regard formal gardens, again in France, that chateau that we visited,
the
chateau, where was it? I can't remember now. It's in one of the videos.
It's the one that was a sunken garden.
Yeah,
and
that was amazing.
The story behind how they actually raised it was just incredible.
So
really.
it was built on marshland, and the whole garden kept sinking. And they this chateau had been abandoned for something like 90 years, hadn't it? And they reopened again, redid all the formal gardens, and they all sunk into the marshland again. So what they've actually done, I think, is about 6 or 7 acres.
Yeah.
And they've put piles into the ground, and they've put an oak flooring on top of all these piles. And then they sit in the marshland so the oak doesn't get destroyed. And then they built the garden on top of an oak floor. It's an incredible thing.
It's worth watching the video because we actually talk about it in the video. And just when you're there and realise how big an area is that they did, you just think, really? And it was a fairly recent thing to do. You'd kind of expect that many years ago when money was no object. But yeah, it was really quite fascinating, wasn't it? And because we didn't see that much in the castle itself, so actually the gardens became the main focus of our attention. But it was worthwhile seeing. Yeah,
it was good. Yeah,
it was interesting.
Any other gardens there? Tropical gardens elsewhere? Madeira. Oh, we said about Madeira. Yeah. What about the ones in America?
That was here before.
Oh, it was. But there is another extremely keen gardener on the channel at the moment. Luke. So, Luke from Cruise Monkeys, his garden's beautiful. Haven't seen it in person, but I've had a guided video tour of it, and it's wonderful.
I have to say, if I had a garden like that, I really would be showing it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic in it. I'm sure Gavin does his bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he
does all the labouring.
So we've got another question from Jerry. I'm afraid I can't answer this one, Jerry, but somebody else on here. Has anyone been on Queen Mary 2 since the refit? We're on her next December. We haven't. I saw a video from Dan and Jay, Cruise Away with Dan and Jay. I think that's how you say it. And they've been on there. So you could try that one, but we've not been on. She certainly needed a bit of help.
She did need a bit of love and attention.
Yeah.
In places.
Yeah.
Like all of these ships, they do an awful lot of work. And after a while, they do need a bit of attention, a bit like me, really. So it's not surprising.
But she's still a stunning ship.
Yeah.
When we were on, the main inside and everything was beautiful. It's just that there was the odd bit that was, silly little things like the door handle ripped off on one of the gents' loos, and the doors were all scraped when we were in the pub. One of the tables we were in, the surface was all blistered and cracking off and things like that. And you sort of think, well, we know they've got their own carpenters and things like that on board.
Take it away.
Just take it away
and bring it back.
But
yes, we don't quite know why they weren't, but
no. We've got another question from Commodore Steve. What are your thoughts on what you've seen about Cunard's Queen and Cunard going to lose their traditional cruisers? I don't know. We'll find out because we're actually on the Maiden, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are.
There's quite a few other people that we know that are going on it as well. Yes, that'll be interesting because I think it's going to be a little bit more on the lines of Victoria and Elizabeth that are much more up to date and contemporary.
But they're not contemporary. They're new, and they're not that new, but they are Art Deco themed. and this one's going to be, I think this one's going to be a lighter colours, and instead of the
More
deep
like
dark,
Iona-ish.
hopefully not. Because no, I don't mean that, because Iona's good, and Iona is stunning and a beautiful ship, but she's very contemporary. The problem is that with contemporary ships, they age quicker.
Yeah.
When we were on Celebrity Silhouette, and she's, I don't know, what's she now, 12, 15 years old, she looks quite old because she was contemporary and bang up to date when she was made. Whereas if you go on a ship like Aurora, or on Queen Mary, Elizabeth, or Victoria, if you go on there, because they were designed and built in the Art Deco styling, they don't seem old. It's a bit like watching Dad's Army, isn't it? You know, it's still funny because when it was made, it was 40 or 30 years retrospective.
Yeah.
So I think that's different, but I don't know what Queen Anne's going to be like.
I think it's going to be really interesting.
I think it
Really
will be
interesting.
really. I think they've probably gone half and half. So they've still, as long as I think they maintain the traditions on there and keep the afternoon teas and do it the right way as they do at the moment and things like that, I think it'll be all right. But we're not very experienced on Cunard. We've only done 2 short cruises. So, and they were both on Queen Mary. We're due on Victoria later this year because we quite fancy it, but not until after we've been on Anne. So it'll be quite interesting. Not really sure. Yeah. Oh, and Tom and Don was saying that Fraser's done Queen Mary 2 recently, so hop over onto Fraser's channel and have a look at that one. Yeah, that'd be quite good.
So, do we need to do a little bit of
we do. I'll let you do that, dear.
Well, hopefully some people will quite like what we're just about to say. And if you do, please give us a thumbs up.
Yes.
For the idea.
Yes.
But
not our idea.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't our idea.
No.
We just agreed to it.
Yeah.
So on Friday evening this week, we will be guesting on Cruise Monkeys Live.
Yes. They asked us the other day, didn't they? If we go on there, we sort of said, what the hell do you want us on there for? But it's very kind of you guys, and we're looking forward to it already, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
I'm really looking forward to it because I won't have this issues with pressing all the buttons and things.
And I actually think it's going to turn into the Holly and Dax show.
Really?
Yeah.
Honey
and Dax.
And Dax, yeah.
I think it's going to turn into their show.
Well, we don't know. It's up to the boys. So so they're going live this Friday at 8 o'clock. Please do come along and watch them. And we're there to mess up their lovely live as well.
Yeah. So hopefully the questions that come in, if one pair of us can't answer, then the other pair can, and we'll probably have contradictory ideas. And
well, we might do, but that's a good thing.
We're actually thinking a similar way on a lot of things. So, but we hopefully will have a little bit of fun as well.
Yes.
Because we tend to when we're chatting to them, don't we?
Oh, we do. Yeah. But usually we've been drinking all night.
Yeah.
No, we haven't. No, we don't do things like that, do we?
No. So that will be interesting, and we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we are. Thank you guys for asking us.
Yeah, thank you very much. It'll be
a pleasure and a privilege.
Yes, very much.
Yes.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
I'll have to stay sober in the pub in the afternoon.
Yeah, we probably will be going to the pub in the afternoon, so I'll have to take it a bit careful. Maybe only 6 or 7 pints of patches, otherwise, that could be a terrible state to be in. Yeah. Right, so everyone's saying they're going to come as well. I'm glad they are.
Oh, that's
that's really good.
Tony.
Oh, Tony. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Just seen you come in. Hi, Tony. Nice to see you again. I can't remember where Tony's from. Somewhere across the pond, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, but not good. So, has anyone got any more questions for us?
Because we're almost
out of time. But if there is anything else that you'd like to ask us, we'll happily. Yes, the monkeys again. Yes. So it's been great having you all here. Thank you so much for joining us. I do apologise about not putting the little questions on the screen. It's a technical issue that I didn't realise I had until too late to sort it. But that should be back. Date for next month, dear.
5th of February.
5th of February. Next live.
Panto will be over.
Oh
yes, it will.
Oh yes, it will. Hopefully, I'll be able to get all my makeup off because I might have a guy liner still left on, or I can get me.
Well, as long as you get your false eyelashes on.
Get my false eyelashes off. Yeah, I might even wear them.
We're going shopping for makeup tomorrow, and it's not for me.
We'll get some new guy liner, haven't we?
Yes. You need some lashes and those magnetic ones because the glue hurts your eyes.
Yes, it did.
It's all very technical.
It's very technical, you know. I mean, I have to do my own makeup, darling, lovey. Yes. So anyway, if you want to come, there's the link in the thing, you know. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Sorry about the bits again, but hope you've enjoyed it. And thanks everyone to all their contributions, because to be fair,
that's what makes it.
That's what makes it.
The community talking together. It's what makes it, and makes it fun as well.
That's what makes it. And hopefully we'll see you again on